Thank you very much, Susie. I'm honored to be here, and it's a great privilege to be part of the project and to be here in Kilifi and at Pwani University today. So, shall I pass back to you to introduce Belinda and Nicole?
Okay. So, and together with us now here in Kilifi is Belinda Oechsler. Everybody knows her. She's the heart of the project in Germany. Welcome, Belinda. And I'm very glad that we also can welcome a new member in our team. This is Nicole. Nicole, where are you? Here she is. Nicole. So we have more members in the team in Germany. There's someone for IT, and there will be some other people for social media. But this is what is here at the moment, and you can contact us anytime as long as you are here, so that we can exchange as much as possible during our stay here at Pwani University. And now we hope we have a very fruitful day together. Let's see what we have prepared for you so that you get an impression what has happened in the years since we started our cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sissy Kloss and Dr. Yvonne Clearly from Ireland. At this point, then we will move on to the next item on our agenda. And we would like to welcome our distinguished administrators at various levels in our university. I'll start by inviting back Professor Yakobo Mutiti to make a few remarks on behalf of the Chair of Department of the Department of Languages, Linguistics, and Literature. Karibu, Prof. Let's welcome him again warmly.
Thank you. The Department of Languages, Linguistics, and Literature for a long time has been having 3 streams of courses. On the one hand, we've been teaching English and, of course, Kiswahili, and on the other side, we've been teaching literature for quite a long time. But in a few years back, we've actually been thinking along the lines of doing communication studies, and I would say that the Hochschule Karlsruhe, that is Karlsruhe University of Applied Sciences, came in handy as an elder sister who had actually started communication and media. And we were able actually to link up with them first through the earlier projects such as the VIL project, and we came to realize that they were having something that we really wanted to have, but we did not know how to go about it. So the good thing is that a few interactions with the school in Germany was actually able to enable us to produce a curriculum that we mooted, that we supported, that we organized, and in the end, actually it was actually accepted by our local authorities, and it has even been sanctioned by Q as we talk. So what we are saying here is that our department now is also housing communication and media. We know that it may be for quite a while, but we can see that there is a big thing out there. We are actually thinking in terms of like we are actually just incubating the communication and media, unit there. But sooner rather than later, it's actually going to become a very big thing. It is an interesting field, and it opens up academic space and also professional space for many people. And we actually think that it is actually going to be a leader in this part of the world. So we are praying that actually communication and media at NGO will actually grow to maybe full status. I can actually foresee it's going to be probably a separate department, maybe even in future, even a separate center, because it is actually something that carries a lot of issues in the industrial corporate world. I don't want to say much because I have my bosses here. I just want to welcome you, welcome everybody, and also to begin by saying that I want to welcome my senior, the Dean, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, to say a word or two. Professor Halim Shauri, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Yakubu Mutiti. I really appreciate that. Good morning. Guten Morgen. Wie geht's? Sehr gut. Mir geht es gut. It gives me great pleasure to be here, DVC, to be able to see the event as planned. When Professor Sisi was talking of 10 years already, I was like, oh. So when this program started, it has added 10 years to my life. So I'm 10 years old because I saw this program from its humble beginning. And we were very excited when this program was coming on board. So as a school, we really appreciate, and we've really been providing the necessary support and of course pestering university management here and there to be able to support this program. We've come this far, and we must say that we are proud of the team that has been very consistent, dedicated, and motivated to make sure that this program takes off. When the program was starting, we were actually very excited, and we still are excited, and we are looking forward towards this program being even opened up for other professionals to join. In as much as, you know, when you start the journey, you want to start it in a modest way, but we want to ask you that I think it's time to grow, and it's time to open your wings and be able to allow many of us to join this program. I find this program very interesting because myself, sometimes I ask myself very difficult questions that touch on what we do as lecturers, as individuals in life, especially with regard to how we communicate and whether we effectively communicate what exactly we want to be done by those we communicate to. I've found in many instances, even in my own house, when my wife gives instructions to the house help to be able to clean a table, and then they go back and say, how did you clean it? I told you to clean the table. So I ask myself, but did you transfer the way you wanted the table to be cleaned? Because you had your own idea in your mind on how the table should be cleaned, but clean it very careful. What is very careful? When I sit in education institutions, especially I chair the board of one of the national schools here called Bahari Girls. You find that teachers spend 4 years with the students, 50, 60 students in a class. When the results come, only one student has an A, and the others are out there. Then you wonder, for the 4 years, the teacher has been talking to one student. The teacher was not able to communicate the knowledge that they have, because if they manage to get one A, then it means they have what it takes to make students get an A. What stops them from communicating to the larger group so that they can all get A's? So I am in the same boat as a sociologist myself. Sometimes I'm also caught between a hard place and a rock, I'm told, in terms of how I communicate my research, in terms of how I write. Sometimes the problem that makes us not to be recognized or to make an impact in our fields of study is because we can't communicate. We may have the best and excellent results from our researches, but communication then becomes a really big challenge. So I asked the team that, can you please open these doors for many people to be able to communicate? 21st century and maybe going forward will be a world open to communication. If you cannot communicate, you're out. If you are not in TikTok, if you are not in LinkedIn, if you are not, then you are not. And things are getting more complicated, artificial intelligence and all sorts of stuff coming in. So you must be good in communication in your area, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a psychologist, you must be able to communicate that psychology to your students and to the people and to the community. With those many remarks, I want to take this opportunity, very humbling opportunity, to be able to invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic. And probably before he comes in, I also give apologies for the DVC Research and Extension, because there was another meeting that is going on, and of course, it is not very efficient to have two DVCs and another meeting is not being chaired. So we excused him, he came in, and then we told him, yeah, you can go because we have the DVC in the right place, because this is a program and the DVC academic is here. Professor Mulewa, it is my humble request that you stand up, address us, and probably, not probably, in your own wisdom, open this event. Thank you very much.
Hamjambo. Wageni wetu hamjambo. Huko nyuma. Hamjambo. Karibuni sana. I cannot communicate effectively because I'm a biological scientist, right? But communication is very important. Lakini hayo siyo yaliyonileta. That's not what brought me here. I take this opportunity and I feel very privileged to welcome you all to Pwani University. It is a momentous occasion to all of us in Pwani that we are witnessing today. I'm standing here as the acting Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic and student affairs. I got invitation to this occasion to that effect, but before I could come, the Vice Chancellor asked me to come and represent him. So I'm here in that capacity. So when he asked me to come and represent him, I asked him, what is it that you want me to pass on to them? And he's not a man of many words. He just said, waambie karibu sana. So karibuni sana, feel at home. Pwani University has been engaging with you, and for an engagement to last those many years and still see the partners so enthusiastic to continue, it's really, really wonderful. And I want to wish you all the best in these endeavors. The MCM, when I saw it, I thought it was Mulewa Chrysostom Mwatete. That's the initials of my name. And I was like, oh, this is me. But it is now Masters in Communication and Media. And personally, when it comes to communicating, it is my nightmare. I do the research, analyze, and then I'm told you have to communicate. Because if you don't talk about it, if you don't communicate, it has not taken place. Right? Nobody knows that you have been working for 3 or 5 years. And for the biologists, we don't get trained on how to communicate. We just trained on biology. So it has been a challenge. We have learned the hard way because we have had to communicate for us to be where we have been. Now this course, I hope, will make things not easy for the practitioner, but those of us in those distance disciplines that really find communication a challenge. Those will be my remarks. I want to wish you all the best in this interaction, and with those few remarks, I feel privileged to declare this event officially open. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Kindly hold a little bit before you sit down. We mentioned earlier, this event also marks 10 years of a very fruitful and successful cooperation between Pwani University and Karlsruhe University of Applied Sciences. And we have a special gift for Professor Sissi Kloss for that very fruitful cooperation together with her team. So we would like to request you to come forward and together receive the gift to just mark 10 years of our cooperation. Of appreciate, yes. Thank you so much. I think that deserves a special clap. There's a special clap we usually do called 5 factorial. Do you know 5 factorial? 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. To just mark 10 solid years of great impact in the community, great impact on campus, great impact by extension, even on the host institution, so to say, Karlsruhe University. It's a landmark that is worth celebrating. So can we just mark it by a 5 factorial? Let me put the mic down. 1, 2, 3. That was a good warm-up. Let's do the real deal now. All right. Warm, warm, warm. Pasha moto kidogo warm. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Sissi. Thank you, Yvonne, Belinda, and the entire Karlsruhe and Ireland team, and also Pwani University team, headed by Professor Jacobo Mutiti, and the rest of the PU team for the successful cooperation that we've had. And we look forward to many, many more years of a great cooperation. Thank you. So at this juncture, then, I will invite Professor Sissi, together with, I see Edith and Dr. Yvonne, to do some presentation on this cooperation that has been going on. Welcome. We have 2 mics. That is, that is great. You want to say something?
So you have seen there's a long history, and it started already earlier, even in 2008. It was my first visit here at Pwani, and the welcome was so overwhelming, warm and open, and just welcoming us from another country and saying, yes, we want to cooperate. And it took some years, as you see. Sometimes it takes some time. But then in 2014, we had been here only for 2 weeks, and in these 2 weeks, we managed to really get our first contract for cooperation with Pwani University and Karlsruhe University in Germany. This was exciting. Never before in Karlsruhe a contract could be set up so fast. That was amazing. Yeah. And then since then, we managed to set up a team on both sides where still the people involved are the same. This is another very amazing, never happened thing in our days. So a stable team is so necessary for success. So I thank all the members involved, and most of all, I thank Edith Miano. She is our heart at Pwani University. Thank you, Edith. Oh. And I thank Belinda Klaas. She came in 2018 as a student, actually, but then she lost her heart to Kenya, and since then, it's her second home. Belinda, yes, thank you. And of course, all the others involved, especially also the ones who teach. This is Alex, you know him already now from the moderation, but this is Dr. Elisabeth Munyaya, this is Dr. Rukia Swole, and of course, Professor Mutiti, you have seen him just some minutes ago. And this is a wonderful team. We have our regular team meetings nearly every week, and there we exchange fruitful our ideas, and it's only that way that we can move on actually so fast, because we managed in these 10 years not only to set up 2 very successful student exchange programs, but now we really managed to set up our very first master in communication and media here at Pwani University with a successful first master student round. So congratulations to Pwani University. Thank you. And what made it even more exciting, you know, our study program has to be international and interdisciplinary. And the international aspect actually in Germany was not so in the focus. It was very German-based. And this project gave us the first chance to really set up an international environment. And this even could be improved to, as I could win my dear colleague, Yvonne Cleary from Limerick University to join our team. So welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just say a couple of words about joining the team. So I knew Sissy since 2015. Sissy and I were in a project together, an EU project where we developed program prototypes and competencies for technical communication. So I knew something about her program, and we both run very similar programs in technical communication. And I also knew a lot about her amazing reputation throughout Germany. And she had told me a little about starting cooperation with Kenya, and it sounded so exciting. So then when the pandemic happened, Sissy and I were discussing other topics, and she asked me if I would be interested in having Limerick involved in the field cooperation. And I already knew about Eddie, and I thought, God, this would be wonderful. So I was delighted for our students to have the opportunity to participate. And I didn't know that it would lead to all of these other exciting opportunities. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be involved and to have been included in the project. Thank you so much, Sissy.
Hi, good morning all. Yes, my name is Edith Miano. Let me decline from saying that I am the heart. At Pwani University, Sisi has just been, I don't know, should I say the brain, the heart, the whole body of the entire project. So we are so grateful to be guided by her, to be mentored by her, to see what she has done at her home university. She started this project and she started this curriculum at her home university over 25 years ago. So we are really privileged, really grateful, and by collaborating together with the wonderful team at Pwani University, I must say it has been a very, 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 very wonderful team, guided by Professor Mutiti, who is our our program leader for the MCM project. We are so, so grateful to have his mind as well. We are grateful to have Munyaya, we are grateful to have Rukia, Alex. It has been a really wonderful team. So all in all I can say is that we have been working hard. It has not been easy. It has not been without challenges, but we work together very well, also with the mentorship of Professor Shauri, who has been there since the beginning. As you said, I mean, as you heard him say, it has added 10 years to him, although we don't see it, but it has added. So we are all really, really grateful. We are all really, there's so much that we could say, but all, in short, we are grateful to have had these 10 years, and we're grateful that hopefully we will have more with this study program that is very new, and we hope to see it grow with more students joining us. And soon enough, you'll also be hearing from the students who are currently there. So yeah, karibuni nyote, asante sana.
And just to finalize and to give you an impression it's going on, we were invited this year from the German embassy to join for a big event to celebrate our exchange program field together with Limerick, Pwani, Germany. And then it turned out that a lot of other universities have immense interest in such kind of collaboration and study program. There was the Kenyatta University, there was the University of Nairobi, there were some vice chancellors from other places, and they all approached us on the event, but already later we got a lot of emails. How can we cooperate? How can we learn from what you have set up? So Pwani can be proud to be the very, very first to set up such things. Thank you. Thank you. Good.
Awesome, wonderful. Let's give them another round of applause. Yeah, we thank God also for making our plans a success, that He has helped us in our endeavors of cooperating in those 10 years. Relationships have been built, skills have been acquired, networks have been built, resources have been exchanged. A lot has happened that cannot be said in detail in the short presentation. And we are grateful to God and to everyone who has put in some effort towards this cooperation. At this juncture, without further ado, I will welcome Dr. Elizabeth Munyaya. Just a minute. What are you saying? I thought there was a bit of a change, but I think we are still on course. So Dr. Elizabeth Munyaya is the current director of the Board of Undergraduate Studies, has also been a very key member of the project team, and today she will, as she has done in the past, present to us some details about the Master of Communication and Media. And this is especially for people who may be hearing about this for the first time, to get to know more about what it's all about. And you can make a decision if you're a student to pursue this after you're undergraduate. You can also tell a friend and another friend and another friend. So pay attention and let's hear more about the MCM program. Karibu Daktari.
Thank you, Mudanga. Thank you, everyone.
All protocol observed. Allow me to present the success of implementing the Master of Communication and Media program at Pwani University. I just want to get into some few comprehensive analysis of the same so that we can indeed get to know what has happened over the years. The background. Now, focused on the pivotal role of communication and media in societal development and idea exchange, Pwani University initiated the implementation of a Masters of Communication and Media program, which we all call MCM, but not Mlewa Chrysostom Mwatete. So in 2014, there was a memorandum of understanding that was assigned between Karlsruhe University of Applied Science and Pwani University under the leadership of Professor Sisi Close. Then later, the MOU expanded to include our sister university, the University of Limerick in Ireland, and that group was led by Dr. Yvonne Cleary. Now, these three universities collaborated to establish this Masters of Communication and Media program at Pwani. And it was all funded by the German Academic Exchange Service, DAD. Now, if we are to simply look at a review of the literature, most of it attests to the significance of advanced education in communication and media. And that was the idea that set the foundation for this study. And even previous research on similar programs, both nationally and internationally, also provided context for understanding that potential impact and challenges associated with implementing such a program. You have had evidence here, Professor Sisi saying there are some universities that are interested in such a collaboration. So it means we are far ahead of time, and we thank God for that. Now, the curriculum design and the course offering. Now, the design of this program is in such a way that it emphasizes the alignment of courses with industry needs and the emerging trends. And the faculty members that are involved in taking through the students in this program have the expertise in integrating practical experiences into the curriculum, and that is what is happening even as we undertook the students in their first semester. And data shows that of the 4 of the 5 units that were taught in the first semester, all of them were examined through practical assignments and project work. So that is the core of this curriculum. It emphasizes practical assignments, it emphasizes on project work, and the entire program simply emphasizes on skills development as well. And we will later on see the demonstrations by the student presentations when they are given the time. So again, the student feedback on the curriculum's efficacy in preparing for the real-world challenges was also taken into account, and we got feedback from the students saying that indeed this is a program that prepares them effectively for real-world challenges. And even when we talk to the employers that we hope to bring into the picture, they felt that the skills that we are teaching these students are very well suited to prepare our students for real-world challenges. The faculty expertise. Now, the success of this program hinges significantly on expertise and the involvement of its faculty members. When I was evaluating the program on the qualification and industry experience of the faculty, I noted that the majority of the faculty members possess extensive qualification. In fact, they are overqualified, and they have the experience in the field of communication and media. If we look at Professor Sisi, she has over 20 years experience in teaching the technical communication. The same with Dr. Yvonne Cleary. These people have over 20 years experience in teaching this curriculum. And even our own Professor Yakobo Mutiti has over 20 years in that special area of communication and linguistics. So what we are saying is that when we started this program, we looked, or we identified the most qualified members of the group so that they could teach and ensure that our students get the best from the best. And then additionally, the project also investigated the faculty-student interactions, mentorship opportunities, and the integration of research initiatives within the program. Now, that mentorship aspect is still ongoing because the students are yet to get into their second year, to get into their research work. So that still, but we have started the preparations. We have even identified some of those students, some of those lecturers that will mentor these students come second year when they undertake their research activities. So all that is in line, all that is in place, all that is work in progress. And student outcomes and achievement, again, I analyzed the outcomes of the program just for the first semester that the students were going through the program. And here, I particularly assessed the academic performance during their first semester of study and any other notable achievements or contributions they have made in that field. And what I gathered here is that the students' feedback provided insights into how well this program prepared them for their professional journeys. A majority of them have a background in communication, have a background in media. Some of them work in media institutions. So being taken through such a program, as we have said, prepared them more effectively for their professional journeys in future. So subsequently, we again looked at company feedback, which evaluated to understand the opportunities for field attachment, because this is a unique program. We hope that as these students undertake their research, they'll be based in companies out there. So that's why we would call upon the company and the employers, the companies that are here with us, so that we attach these students to them, and then they undertake their project work, they undertake their research work when they are within these companies. So the MCM program prioritizes creating a positive student experience. Again, this being a student-centered learning, it serves as a foundation also for the success of the MCM program. So the focus here is that we underscore the serious consideration of student satisfaction as a major indicator for the program excellence. The impact on university reputation, the success of the Masters of Communication and Media program that is at Pwani generally enhances the university's reputation, be it within the academic world, as well as in the community and in the broader society as well. The project or the program acknowledges the immense pride and satisfaction of all those who contributed to the establishment of this degree program, and it is gratifying to observe that there is the careful and diligent efforts that were invested. You saw the video here. There is so much that has been put into this program, and as we can see, it has really yielded remarkable dividends. So the response to the new degree program, we are calling it new because it's a pioneer. We have never had such in Kenya. Okay? So the response for this program from faculty, from the employers, from the administration, from the public, and most significantly, the students all has been overwhelmingly positive. But even with the successes, there are bound to be challenges. And there are some challenges that we have encountered as co-participants in the implementation of the program. And one of them is financial constraints, which is being faced by all universities, not just Pwani. So financial constraints are prevalent in today's academic landscape, and Pwani University acknowledges the realities of operating within a limited budget. So the institution recognizes that, and especially the fact that the government has reduced funding, especially on academic programs, that can have an effect on any academic program and standards. But Pwani University acknowledges that difficulty, and they saw a need to put together a balance between the program enhancement as well as resource reallocation. And in that, they went ahead now to, in the first semester, we have had adjunct professors coming in to teach, okay? This is all in a process of addressing that issue of financial constraints. And then, again, the robust co-curriculum. Everything has been a balance of everything. Robust co-curriculum, innovative teaching methods, and most importantly, the success of this program could not have been realized had it not been for the collaboration and close partnership that Pwani University has been holding between it and its partners, the University of Karlsruhe of Applied Sciences, as well as the University of Limerick, because all these people are part and parcel of our lecturers who are ensuring the success of it. And the key findings and highlights, just to conclude, that the MCM program is meeting both professional as well as educational needs. Still, the employers have expressed that extremely high regard for the program, especially for the graduates who demonstrate a background in academic inquiry. So the employers here say we would want students or graduates who have the following qualities: a strong background in academic inquiry, independent thinkers, critical and creative thinkers as well. Also problem solvers as the key skills in information management. So the students that we hope to graduate, let's say in 2026, okay, have that academic background that we have taken them through, and they will have the understanding of research that prepares them to pursue further academic work. There are others who will want to come back as lecturers. So we have grounded them as far as that is. So in this regard, we are saying that the Masters of Communication and Media program is on the right track and a very important track as such. So in conclusion, if you wish, there are those that are fourth years here, if you wish to join us in September this year, these and much more experiences are what you will experience as a student in Communication and Media program at Pwani. So the way forward, welcome. Karibuni sana, students, for the September intake, which is ongoing right now. Thank you, and asante sana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elizabeth Munyaya, for that elaborate presentation on the progress of our MCM program. We can give about 5, at most 10 minutes for any reactions, question or comments to her presentation before I invite the next person to tell us something about MCM at Pwani University. Anyone who would want to comment or question at this juncture before we bombard you with too much that you lose track of anything that may have come up along the way. If there is none, it's okay, but if you have a question, then you can just show by raising your hand, and I'll request someone to bring the microphone to you. Okay, I do not see any hand. Do I? Ah, yes. All right, let me come myself. All right, I'm informed there's a mic there already. Good. Go ahead.
I'm Ruto Sami, the Dean, School of Education. It's a very interesting program, and I'm particularly touched. Do we have possibility of having a postgraduate diploma program? Postgraduate diploma.
Okay.
I think we need to go there.
Yes.
I have behind me a lot of educationists, and if this education is all about media, you know, communication and that kind of stuff, are we likely to offer a PGDE in communication?
That's a very good observation. Thank you, Dr. Ruto, for that. So I don't know if there's anyone who may want to respond to that.
I would say
Yes,
it's
Prof.
actually very interesting. It's a good idea, Daktari. It's something that we can think over. And I should say at this instant that it is possible. It is something that we need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mutiti. Any other comment, question, observation? In case I don't see, just any other? Okay, so far I see none. I hope I'm not having my specs today, so I may not see a hand if it's very far behind, but I hope I've not left anyone behind. So thank you, Daktari and Prof, for those observations. We will look into that. The Dean was also challenging me as we were seated here that this discipline is on very high demand because communication cuts across all areas of study, of research, of learning, and therefore is required pretty much everywhere. And we can even have short-term, 2-week intensive programs to train companies, train institutions, train students on effective communication, even using modern technologies. So those are good observations. Those are good notes that we are taking, and we will see what we can do about it. Thank you very much. So at this juncture, I will welcome Ms. Edith Miano to tell us something about communication and media at Pwani University. Karibu. Let's welcome her.
Thank you very much, Bwana Alex. Maybe also a clap for Alex. He's a very good moderator. So we have had some good points from Elizabeth about the communication and media program, and I wanted to just dive a little bit into what we are currently doing with our current students. And just to give you a little bit more information about communication and media at Pwani University. As you had heard, this is a program that's already started elsewhere, but for us, this is relatively new, or should I say entirely new. So when we say that, what do we mean? The communication and media program, especially the discipline and the relevance, it's actually known also as the technical communication program as well. This means that it is not as part from the typical mass media. It goes into technical measures of communication. So this is a tool for the enhancement and highlighting of intended messages through the use of appropriate media. And that's why we say appropriate media, just specific media that we use, means of technology for the respective target group. So depending on who your target audience is, we design or we, the team of lecturers as well as the students, identify what kind of media tool are you going to use, be it visualization, be it video, to communicate to specific target groups. And it's also multidimensional with social discursive parameters, which are indeed part of the resource repertoire for effective communication. So even as we tell you about technical communication, do not be afraid. You might question, I'm coming from the background of education. It cuts across. We are saying it's multidimensional, we're also saying it's multidisciplinary. So the background that you're coming from, we teach you to actually be able to effectively communicate to target groups. So this will also assist a given professional or also academic in the enhancement of, in the enhanced ability to pass across knowledge and information. Yeah, that is our target, that is our goal. How do you pass the information in the respective field while considering all related factors and parameters? So are you taking, maybe for instance, a video to a place that actually also doesn't have electricity? Are you taking a video documentation to a place where maybe you're communicating to people who are visually impaired? How do you target certain groups? So that's what people actually learn. So it's relevant across all disciplines and also all professionals. So we are saying you can come in from the pure sciences with your chemistry, and we teach you how do you actually communicate these specific formulas to your target audience. So here at Pwani, our curriculum content is as follows. We follow, for the master's program, we normally have 2 years, or let's say perhaps 4 semesters. The first semester in the first year, we will tackle communication and media, and that's what our students have been doing, did last semester. They also did a course on visualization. They also did a course on media management, how to work with certain media, specific media. They also did multilingual workflow, learning aspects of the German language as well, and seeing how can you use that as well in your communication. They also learned information technology and management using specific software. The students will also let you know more about that. They learned something about Flair. Some of you maybe have heard about it, some of you haven't, so maybe you will get an aspect on some of those specific skills that they picked up. In the second semester, they go through communication and media too, and they also get a deep understanding of research methodology, specifically in the field of communication. There is also project management and entrepreneurship, and they also have language options. How do you communicate, for instance, in Kiswahili? The right terminology, the right vocabulary. So the same thing with German for communication and also English for communication. You do not want to lose your target audience once again. Then in the second year, they do a research project or a thesis. So this is what you can expect as an undergraduate student. When you enroll for this program, this is what you can actually expect to tackle. So all these tasks and assessments are usually carried through in the form of exams, essays, class presentations, written assignments, there's practical project work, and we really do highlight there's a lot of practical work that is done. There's a lot of skill-based techniques that they pick up from this course. So there's videos and film and also online content production, social media, and things like that. Those are some of the skills that they pick up and that you will be picking up when you enroll as a master's student in communication and media. As a student who enrolls for this program, you may be asking yourself, down the line, after I have finished the program, what can I look forward to in terms of a career? Where can I fit? That's normally the number one question our students tend to have. Where will I go? How do I get to earn my keep? So one of the ways that a student can do that, after getting the skills in communication and media, you can become a technical writer, you can become an information architect, you know, working on certain websites, learning how to organize certain information. There's also content and social media manager, that is really big currently. A lot of you probably are also working with social media, so you learn additional skills to enhance the area that you'll be working in. There's also translation manager if you're coming from a background of Kiswahili, if you're coming from a background of Arabic, whichever background, you can become a translation manager. There's also web designer. So this is a course as well that will give you the skills to enable you to create your own website or partner with organization, create websites for them, and enhance certain information to be taken across. And also being a knowledge manager and very many more. This is not just the final list. The area is quite broad, and students actually earn the skills to be very creative, to create employment for themselves as well with the skills that they are taught. So those are some of the highlights of areas that you can go into. And our experts here, students who have actually gone through this program before, can also highlight to you exactly what they also do. Our students from Germany as well, our faculty. If you have any additional questions, they can give you information on certain areas you can go into. So what makes MCM special, you may ask yourself. So it is a joint collaboration with Pwani University, as you heard, and Calso University of Applied Sciences. And this is also in sponsorship with DAD and the German Federation Ministry of Education and Research. Without that, we really wouldn't have been able to bring the program as far as we have. So we are really appreciative of that kind of funding. This is also a pioneering program. It's a first master's program in this discipline in Kenya. Again, this is not something we have had before. It is not to be confused with mass media, yeah? So technical information, technical communication is an entirely new discipline. So attending or enrolling for this master program actually puts you ahead as one of the pioneers in the country, to be one of the first people to undertake this program. It's also, we have international lecturers from different countries, different backgrounds. So we have from Kenya, from Germany, from Limerick as well, from Ireland. We have from Spain. It cuts across. We have people who are coming also from Denmark as well with us. So it is quite let me say, it's very international. So you get skills from different people, we exchange together, and we learn together, you know, from each other. They learn from the Kenyan context, and we learn from the Western context as well. And it's also, again, heavily practice-oriented. It's not the typical theory, listen in class. It's very hands-on as well. So that is something that we have seen is actually also fun, should I say. And it's good for us to actually have a little bit of fun, even in academia. So practical skills are there present, the learning approach with many projects and up-to-date technologies, different softwares, different programs. This is some of the things that they pick up. Again, it's interdisciplinary. So it's relevant in various disciplines. Students with different bachelor backgrounds can register. If your background is in mathematics, you can still learn how to communicate mathematical issues. If your background is Kiswahili, you can learn to communicate different things from the Kiswahili background. If your background is, anybody have a background maybe they want to mention? If your background is? Nothing. If your background is? Okay, from the students, if your background is? Hospitality, we actually also have somebody who has done this from hospitality. Again, psychology, we have people who have also undertaken this program from psychology. I have students from which other background? Computer science, very relevant to you. So all are welcome from different backgrounds, and we really encourage you to apply and extend yourself and extend the skills that you can get. And in conclusion, this and much more you can expect when you enroll for the Masters in Communication and Media program at Pwani University. We have posters around If you take a picture of the QR code, you will get more information on how to enroll. Again, karibuni sana and have a good rest of the day. Asante.
Thank you very much, Edith, for that detailed, precise presentation on the Master of Communication and Media. So I hope as we move along, you're getting to know more and more, not only about the overall cooperation, but even more specifically about this discipline of communication and media that we want to make more and more awareness about, since like we had, in the way it is structured, in the way the content is planned, is a pioneer program in Kenya. We may have programs called communication and media, but are very inclined towards journalistic approach, the journalistic approach of communication and media, but this one leans more on technical communication, being able to get information that is relevant, that is accurate, package it in the best way for the audience that you want to reach, and at the time you can reach them the best. I also got to learn while I was taking the pilot phase of the project, the timing of your posting matters. There is a post you can post in the morning and it will not get as a good, what do we call, hit in terms of views as when you post it maybe at lunchtime when people are taking their lunch break and they are on either transit or taking lunch. So all those elements are captured in this course. Very skill-oriented, very practical. Thank you very much again, Edith, and Dr. Munyaya once again for the presentation on the discipline. At this juncture, to just do a small demonstration on what the students are learning, because they are still in their process of learning. They have concluded the first semester in December and now are in their second semester of their first year. We will have a few presentations from them, starting with Jackson, if he's ready. So I've been told the order is a bit different. So Mercy will start for us. She'll tell us more about what she wants to show us, and so on and so forth. It's okay, no problem. I was looking at the older list. It's okay. So let's appreciate Mercy. Let her feel welcome. Karibu.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. I am Mercy Nzembi Kalama, a current student of Masters in Communication and Media. And I graduated here in Pwani University with a Bachelor of Arts in English and Linguistics in 2023. And I enrolled in the program in the same year, 2023, September. So today, I'm going to demonstrate the key takeaways from last semester, the skills which I acquired, and how the course has been beneficial for my personal growth and my career path. So, the Professor Sisi will showcase one of the projects which I did for my final exam, and we used a software tool called Madcap Flare, which we use to produce output, and it can produce output in different forms, HTML, PDF, Word, and so many others. So, as the professor is opening the output, I would like to say that the different courses which have been offered, they are connected to each other. For example, the final project, it was a connection from the different courses which Edith has shown here. And for example, we were introduced to rule-based writing, which is a course we were taught that for when you are writing, there are two aspects which you have to identify. the target audience, and the purpose of writing. And also, in those courses and the one which you are currently doing, the lecturers are mainly emphasizing on the 4 C's of communication, which are every information should be correct, comprehensive, concise, and consistent. So I will also use the 4 C's to showcase my final project, which I did last semester. Okay, so this is the information which we did last semester. The project is my project for the final exam. And as Edith has mentioned, no, Dr. Munyaya, that the examination were both practical and physical. So this was practical exam which we did last semester. So there was a raw file, actually a 3-page document, which I used to produce this output. Okay, so the image is in thumbnail form. And for example, as a user, a user might want information about coffee making, coffee cultivation, or the requirements to make a coffee. So you see, the information has been divided in 3 different forms. For example, a user wants to know, I want to make coffee. How do I go about it? I'm not interested in knowing where the coffee is cultivated. So there's that first aspect, and it showcases how you go about in making coffee and the ingredients and the process. And another user might want to know, okay, I know how to make coffee, but where is this coffee coming from? Maybe the coffee is produced in Mexico. I want to know more about the coffee from Mexico. So, Mexico. Yeah. So that is the information about coffee from Mexico. As you can see, it's just 4 sentences, and the 4 sentences have given you an overview of what coffee in Mexico is all about. As in, the course is about practical and technical writing, how you communicate to the user. Also, we were introduced to information development process. So when you're given this task in a word form, how do you go about it? So the first thing is you plan your research. After you plan your research, you select the media. As you can see, the media which I've selected, that is the map. When you just see the map, you understand, okay, it's a map for Mexico. After selecting media, you develop content. From our case, we had already content which you are given, and then you apply the standards. What are the standards? The standards about the rules of language. How do you go about the rules of language? And also, you evaluate content and publish it. Evaluating it means that you make sure your content is correct, as in do not give misinformation or biased data. And actually, for my personal growth, I can say that the course has helped me because we are introduced to conflict management, politeness of language. Even from the technical aspect, we are being taught how to use language in a polite way, how to manage conflict. Some of you are doing maybe sociology, you have been introduced to conflict, and now we are being told how to manage the conflict in an effective way from our families and organization and area of work. From my background, I did linguistics, and I can say that linguistics and this program, they are connected. Because from the linguistic program, it was more of a theoretical approach. And the master's program, it's a practical approach and the technical aspect of language. So, from my view, I think the course, it was the missing piece in my profession and career. Also, we were introduced to Germany basics, and I can communicate in Germany, introduce myself. Let me give you an example. For example, you can go about and say, Ich heiße Masi Kalama, ich komme aus Voi, ich wohne in Kilifi. You'll know about the translation later. So thank you and have a good time.
Thank you very much, Masi, for that insightful presentation on Madcap Flair, and also that you can speak a bit of German, plus all the other wonderful details that you gave us.
That is good. And to continue on that same note of presentations from the students, I will welcome Ivy, who will present something that she picked up in her semester 1 on presentation skills. Karibu. Let's encourage her as she comes, as she comes, as she comes. Yes, if you want.
Hello, everyone. Standing here, I know some of you are just here for a normal event, but when you look around, I think from where I'm standing, you'll realize there are a lot of aspects of technical communication going on, some of which we have learned. And while I was sitting there, I can realize that we have aspects of visualization. We have videographers, and it may seem normal, but these are some of the things when you come to technical communication, you pay a tad bit of attention to, because they're things when you learn, you just kind of see. So my name is Ivy Kavai, and I'm going to be doing a short recap presentation on what we learned, especially visualization and presentation. So this, okay, now I'm calm. So now, everyone who has spoken here has had a PowerPoint presentation, as you have seen. Everyone who has been referring to some of the major points they wanted to make using a PowerPoint presentation. And how to make a proper PowerPoint presentation for such an event like this or for your own company is one of the things we learned in our last semester. Now, this is my presentation for my final exam. I was presenting we were told to present on a program that is socially here in Kenya, and maybe something you want to talk about or to sanitize the audience about. So you can see there is some form of similarity. I was speaking about Gala Pomoja in the second slide. In the second slide, you can see this is the branding of the company. But when you take a look at all my slides, you can see they have the similarity in form of colors. Even my diagrams have adapted that form of color, and that's one of the things we learn. Mercy, my colleague Mercy has spoken about consistency, so that's one place where consistencies apply. So with PowerPoint, we got a bit into how to arrange your work, how to plan. So we learn how to plan your PowerPoints in the sense that when you come to present something, you're not speaking and speaking and speaking to the point where people are bored. We learn how to summarize that content in the sense that you become what you're presenting. In a way, you don't drag people around. And then we also learn about color, what kind of fonts to pick, depending on what you're aiming to present. We also learn the use of media, how to add diagrams and images within our project. Then maybe we can go to the social media one. Social media one. Yeah, so whilst we were learning about this was the main course, but because we were learning about it and we have other classes, I used the information I learned in this class to come up with the same kind of PowerPoint for a different class. In PowerPoint, we learn about the use of master slides, and master slides is efficient in making your work be consistent, to not be too dramatic, if I may say. It makes your work present itself in a very professional way. And as all the speakers who have come before me, you've had a bit of professionalism, and that's one of the key things we carry along with
our communication. Yeah, so for how can you use PowerPoint? How can you adapt PowerPoint? It doesn't necessarily mean that you only have to do this when you're doing something formal. Technical communication has come to show us that this can be just you in your own organization. Say maybe you're a social media marketer. How do you plan your work? How do you organize your work? And this comes in part of that organization because, say for example, you are speaking and you want to advertise what you do to people. How can you present that kind of information in a simple way, but without losing the main content you want to put out? Yeah, so that's why I love this class, because I'm not only going to use it in my classwork, I'm going to use it anywhere I go. Say your father or your parent is also presenting something at an audience. You know, our parents are way older, so some of the advancement in technology, they're not really conversant with. But you can use this knowledge to help someone else do something that is formal and professional and enjoyable at the same time. It doesn't have to be boring just because it looks kind of plain. So that's one of the things we learned in visualization, which I really, really love and which I will carry along as, you know, I go through life. Like, this is the way it's come, it's all through. And that's one of the things I love about technical communication. It's here now and it will be here for a very, very long time. And it can be adapted over and over again. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivy, for that wonderful presentation. Yeah, presentation skills are a must-have tool in business, in career, in science, everywhere. So I think when you can master it and do it well, it gives you an edge in whatever field that you are in. The next presentation is Jackson. I think Jackson is the next student to show us something he has done, a video I suppose, so let him come and show us. As he's coming a long way, let us warm him up with a nice applause. Karibu sana, Jackson.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. For my German friends, guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Jackson Msanzu. I'm an MCM student, currently working in Kilifi. I wanted to advance my communication and media course, and I was looking for this program. I went to Mombasa. I went to Kenyatta University. I searched in the internet. I tried to communicate with Maseno University. They have similar programs, but it was because I'm working in Kilifi, I was not able to leave my job and go and do masters there. So I just came to my mind that I should come here and see whether they have this program. And when I came here, I was very lucky to find out that actually there's this program here. But when I tried to find out what the content is, it was a bit different. It was a bit different. It was more of technical than the journalism. My background is in journalism, and I'm working as a journalist, reporting for Kenya News Agency. And when I got to know about this course, I was very lucky, actually. I was very lucky to find this program here. I'm now able to come to school and also work at the same time. So one of the causes which are very relevant to my work now is the video production. Video production is one of the media management courses which we learn museum program. And it was very helpful to me because I do a lot of video recording, a lot of interviews. I also get consulted by organizations to document for them videos and documentaries. So it came as an eye-opener because I learned very new skills, like the 5 short sequence we will show you on my video. I think I will not speak much, let the video speak for itself. I want you to play the video so that you can watch.
Kilifi Bridge has become a black spot for suicide. People have been reportedly jumping down here to end their lives. Everything looks normal as vehicles cross and people walk through the pathways, but it's little known that others come here with a different mission: to end their lives.
Kilifi Bridge has been a death trap, especially to the young generations. In recent times, we've seen so many youth committing suicide by jumping from atop the bridge. So this clearly shows it's a psychological problem, because we have a generation who do not want to share anything with people who can give them some advice. Some of them do not have trust with their own parents. So once they get mental torture, the only thing they think of is taking their own life. And the easiest way is choose the bridge, because no one mans the bridge. So anyone who passes there, whether you have a mental problem or not, you do what you want.
I visited Pwani University, where there's 90% of young persons at Kilifi town, 200 meters from the bridge. I wanted to find out what might be the reasons that push young persons to commit suicide at Kilifi Bridge.
My name is Cynthia Masen.
Cynthia Masen, why do you think people commit suicide at the Kilifi Bridge? So, as part of your professional job, media practice or media management is very essential, especially those who will be doing communication consultancy, those who will be doing visualization, those who will be doing technical communication. So video production is very, very essential as part of the skills in the program. So apart from video production, I also learned about visualization, that is design. I did a lot of design, and recently I did a presentation for Gapega organization for media strategy. So I'm becoming very relevant day by day since I started this course. Yeah, because people find me, I have special skills. Just less than 1 year now, I feel I'm on another level of my profession. So I don't have much to say, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jackson. Who wants to see the continuation like me? I think I want part. Is it the continuation of the same or part two? Whatever it is, yeah? I think he did it very nice. It's a sad topic, but he has presented it in a very capturing way, and it's really a very relevant topic for discussion and for dialogue today. Thank you, Jackson. Finally, to wind up the session of the student presentations, I'll invite Roslyn Namai, one of the students, to also come and show us something that she has been able to put up from her experience so far. Karibu, let's encourage her also.
Thanks, Alex. Good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Roslyn Namai. I'm a student just like the rest who've been here, and we have beautiful stories, we have success stories, and we really appreciate the opportunity that the program has offered us. I did my undergrad in communication, and I must say that I have always believed I have some very rich experience in the industry, having been there for something to do with 10 years. And so when Mr. Alex approached me and told me about the program, at the back of my mind, I was just like, really? I'm already in this thing. I know enough. What else do I need? Maybe I need a master's in something different other than communication. But inside, I had a craving for something. I really didn't know what it was. I wanted something better, and I wanted something that could enrich my experience and my background, but I didn't know what it was. So when he asked me to come here for an open day, I gave it a try. I came last year, and I thought, okay, let me just go and listen. But I still didn't know if really I needed that course. So I came, and I think I sat right at the back, and I let Sisi and the team do their thing, talk. And kind of, in a way, I was impressed, and I felt probably this is something I need. But, and I actually took up the challenge. I joined the course. I did my first semester I was in the first semester. And when I did the classes, I realized, wow, this is basically what I have been looking for. You know, the way your heart responds to the need that you've always been having. And so it's been very exciting. One of the things that I do as my work, basically I work as a comms officer. And one of the things I do is telling stories about my organization. And one of the ways we do that is to tell through video. And I thought I knew everything to do about video until we had Felix. And one of the things that I took away from Felix's class was just taking us through a thought process of doing a video. So when you want to do a video, you know, the storyboard, the script, and basically how to relate with the needs of your target audience. And during my last semester's exam, I did a video. And I did a video on a basic thing that most of us probably can relate to. When you are unwell, or basically what you've been hearing about, a lab technologist, what do they do? When you go to the hospital and you're being told, we are doing some tests, just wait. What do you imagine at the back of your mind? Who is this lady doing this test? Or who is this gentleman doing the test? So I just thought, why can't I just talk about what it takes to be a technologist, so basically what a research lab technologist does. And so I was able to do a short video and basically look at what people think in terms of what you call a vox pop, and from an expert's opinion, what really her day-to-day life is as a lab technologist. Hope you'll enjoy the video. Thank you.
I think the role of a lab technician is to stay in the lab and to guide people who come into the lab to do whatever they're supposed to be doing in the lab according to the right procedures.
My understanding, the role of a lab technologist is to analyze different samples in the lab and give results.
According to me, I think the role of a lab technician is receiving of samples, labeling, and analyzing of the samples.
So my name is Monica Toroitich. I am a laboratory technologist. I work in the lab and under a section called IBD. So yeah, my work entails receiving of samples that have been collected from the field. I do process these samples and then I store them in freezers at very cold temperatures of -80. And before that, I need to allocate the freezer positions for these samples, which is done in a system called LIMS, which is an integrated IT system. Yeah, and then I also support research officers to prepare samples for ELISA. Also support by doing a new technology assay that involves, it's called Luminex multiplex assay, that involves running of multiple analytes under one assay. So it's a very new technology which is very efficient and it's cost effective. So the overall implication of this work is that we are able to assess the seroprevalence of the population, different antigens or disease-causing organisms in the population, and this would guide the public health department in making out interventions that are helpful to the health of the population.
Thank you. So just to say something about the video, we didn't just go and shoot it or film it. You are expected to come up with 5 different shots. And so the shots were supposed to be marked, and of course, they were supposed to be seen in that particular video, and those shots are supposed to tell you something. It's just not a shot. When you do a long shot, when you do an extreme close-up, what does that mean? Does it relate to what information you're giving? So we really appreciate the class, and basically for me, I appreciate the fact that I made this decision to join the class, and I am already a better communication expert, and I'm sure in the next 1 year, I'll not be the same again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rosalind, for that wonderful video. Wow. Can we give the students, their lecturers, many of them are here. The Felix that was mentioned is taking photos here, and they are all over here. I will not mention them by name because of the interest of time, all of them. But let's give them a nice 5 factorial. Wait. A nice 5 factorial to just appreciate their hard work and the fruit that we have seen so far. We can call it the first fruits of this new project, and hoping to get even better lasting fruits through their 2-year study. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I can see our time is quite gone, and at this juncture, I will welcome Victoria Mutune, who will lead the next session, a panel discussion involving various stakeholders. She'll tell us more about it. Let's welcome her with a warm clap. Karibu, Victoria.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Victoria, and now we will have a brief panel discussion. We are honored to have field experts with us today from several organizations. We are honored to have our lecturers here, and we are also honored to have our students. So the panel team will consist of all those groups. I hope you find it interesting. I hope it sheds light on what MCM is and what the relevance of our program is. So if you are in the panel discussion, we have project lead, Professor Cici Kloss. Let's give a clap to her. We have our project lead from the Pwani side, Professor Mutiti Yakobo. And we are honored to have the Assistant Director of Communication from our county government, Kilifi, Mercy Milanoi. Karibu sana, Mercy. We also are honored to have the Director for Communication at Green Heart of Kenya, Douglas Logedi. Let's give a clap to him. We are also honored to have Dr. Yvonne Clary from the University of Limerick, Ireland, with us. Let's give a clap to her. And from the students, we have our very own Ivy Kavai. She did a wonderful presentation. And we also have Peter Guni. Peter Guni is in our IT department, and he also took part in the pilot program. Yeah, we have Peter Guni, Ivy Kavai, Dr. Yvonne, Sisi Kloss, Professor Mutiti, Mercy, and Douglas. So in that order. Okay, logistics. Yeah, putting our houses in order. I wish I had a song that I could sing for you before as we wait. But sadly I don't. Maybe we need a theme song for MCM to be singing when we have breaks.
1, 2. 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
And finally, we have Peter Guni. I had introduced him. He's in our IT department and also took part in our pilot program. Okay, I think we are good to go. So in the meantime, as we wait for the IT to to finish setting up, maybe we can have our introductions, and we will start from the extreme end. So you say your name and title. I have said your names and titles. So maybe you can only say your background expertise. Just one sentence. Just give a brief background of your expertise.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Is it afternoon yet? It's still morning. My name is Logedi Douglas Luhangala. I'm the Director of Communications at the Green Art of Kenya. Previously a researcher with the University of Nairobi, so I really identify with such projects. Worked with DAD before on several projects. Worked with a few universities from Germany, from the UK, from Switzerland, and South Africa as well. Pleasure to be here. I do work a lot with the Pwani University as well on different research projects, supporting students, and I'm happy to support this course as well so that you can see how we can make a better labor force for the future. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mercy Milanoe. I am the Assistant Director of Public Communication in Kilifi County. Prior to that, I have a collective experience of over 8 years in journalism and media. I was at K24 for about 6 years as a business journalist, and then 2 years ago, I went to PR agency, and now I'm now venturing into government, so I'm still going through the full communication cycle.
My name is Yakobo Mutiti. I'm Professor of Linguistics and Communication, Pwani University. Currently, I'm the program leader of the new MCM program, and I have quite an experience in relation to linguistics teaching and matters communication in diverse places. I've been at the University of Nairobi, I've been at Egerton University, I've also gone places, University of Iowa. I've also been at Ohio University. I did my studies in Nairobi and in Kenyatta University. I also went to the University of Edinburgh, Scotland, and I've actually had time to move up and around, teaching and also supervising research students. On my hand, I think I've supervised over like 15 PhD students who are also professors like me. Thank you.
My name is Sissi Kloss. I'm a professor for information and media technology, coming from computer science originally. And the good thing was to come into this field, and we could create the very first study program for communication and media in Germany in the late 1990s, together with 2 colleagues. So we did the same in Germany as we are doing now, and yes, that's my background.
My name is Yvonne Cleary, and I'm an associate professor in technical communication and instructional design at the University of Limerick in Ireland. And my background is that I've been teaching technical communication and e-learning and related subjects in Limerick for more than 20 years. And we have a very similar program to the one that's just started here. It's called Technical Communication and E-Learning, but we have a lot of the same kinds of subjects, and so I've been involved in this program, helping to develop this program too. That's my background.
Hello, my name is Ivy Kavai. I'm an enthusiastic MCM student. I do have a background in communication, electronic media from Desa University. I have a bit of experience in print and electronic media, the Star newspaper and Switch TV. And yeah, I'm so excited to be in this program and see how further it can take me. Just like Professor Yakobo, I hope to be up and around.
Yeah.
I'm Peter Guni, System Administrator at Pwani University. One of the alumni for the MCM program. And I'm here today. My background is more in IT, information technology. And I have been here for some years now, majorly in ICT. Anything technical, and I've learned a lot, especially when it comes to communication and media in the area of IT. Not as a linguist, but in the IT, because we have to do communication the technical way, and I have learned a lot. So I think we are here to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much to dear panelists. Those are quite powerful CVs, resumes, when I grow up. In the meantime, to start our discussion, we will be talking about, we'll be having conversations around showing you the relevance of our program. As you've heard, Edith had mentioned earlier, MCM is a quite, our program is a quite relatively new program in Kenya. And as we speak, when we were in Nairobi last week, we had a conversation, and some friends from other universities were saying that they do not have technical communication or masters of communication and media in their universities. So we are honored to be the pioneers of the program in Kenya. To start our discussion, in the age of digitalization and big data, how does communication and media, which is technical communication, transform industries? In a nutshell, or in simple terms, what is the relevance of having communication experts within organizations? And maybe we can start from our industry expert. What is the relevance of having communication experts within organizations?
Great. Thank you very much. In the modern world, there are very many moving parts, and the parts are moving a lot faster than they used to move in the past, and mainly because technology has evolutionized, if not revolutionized, how people communicate different things. In the industry, there's a need to make sure that we avoid what we call the elitist complex, which is you know what you know, and so you assume that the person you are talking to needs to know it. For example, you're telling somebody about microbiology, and scientists are very guilty of this. And they'll tell you about microbiology as if you learned the basics of biology 10 years ago. The question in the industry is, how do I take what I know and package it in a way that you also feel like you're in an environment that you know what I know as much as I know it. So technical communication in the industry is very important in ensuring that your brand can be relayed to other people in the way that you want them to understand it and avoid misconceptions. There's a lot of different elements in technical communication that apply to the industry at the moment. For example, how do I take complex information and turn it into understandable concepts? I work in a space which is sustainable development and sustainable construction, and you want to be able to ensure that people understand what does sustainable construction mean in reality, apart from the buzzwords that they just hear. We need technical communicators to help us to communicate that visually, to help us communicate that emotionally, to help us communicate that in stories. And when I was watching the videos that the lady and gentleman put together, I was trying to ask myself a few things. How do these appeal to my senses? Because you have to understand as a communicator that you're not communicating to the world, you're communicating to people. And people perceive things through senses. People perceive things through their visual senses, through their auditory senses, through their emotional sense, which is a sense that we kind of ignore a lot when we are trying to put things across, but it's the most important thing. So in the modern world, you have to be able to learn how to communicate and capture your stories in a way that they make sense. I'm selling you something that is sustainable. Can I make that appeal to your emotions? Do you connect with it at a personal level? Do you connect with it at an emotional level? Do you connect with it at an auditory level? And can you see it visually? Ivy did a very good job at telling you how you can put together presentations that convey things in different ways in PowerPoints. And there are different ways that you can do that and different platforms that are there. We need experts who understand where these platforms are and how they can use them. And finally, we need people who can understand one thing in communication. There's nothing that you want to tell us in a way you want to tell us that has not been told. Yeah. And therefore, you have to learn how to tell us the obvious without being boring. And that is a very tough balance to do, especially when you're trying to communicate to people that everything that you are telling them everything I'm telling you now, you have the ability to pick up your phone and find the exact same information and have to be able to tell you that information without boring you to death. That is the most delicate bit of communicating as a corporate. Thank you very much.
That was a really, really good response. Maybe we can also hear from Mercy. What's the relevance? What's the need of having communication experts within organizations?
Well, my colleague has talked a lot, but I think from my experience is that in politics, we always say, if it was never said, it was never there. So our main task is to make sure that everything that is being done in organizations is being able, people are able to know. And the thing about having a communication person or even just having technical communication is that there's nobody else who will tell your story better than you. So telling your own story, telling the story of your organization, telling the story of the people you're representing, of the work that you do, it is very important. And the most important thing about storytelling is that you go ahead, you help your stakeholders, whether it is the public, whether it is your partners, the relevant people who need to understand what you're doing. Communication helps you to do that. And I can just give an example of in about 3-4 years ago, first of all, IT is very difficult to disseminate, honestly. And it can be a bit boring because it's very many technical things and very many technical words. So I worked at a PR agency where Safaricom was our agent, was our client. And our task was to help people understand Safaricom's agenda, which is transformation and technology. So make technology interesting. So it was a very hard task. So after brainstorming for a while, we developed something called Safaricom Newsroom. If you Google it, you'll see. So there we decided to tell the stories of the people behind the network we use. So we went deep and looked for the technical people who make sure you have your network. When you people complain on Twitter, Kilifi, there's no network, the people who go and actually go to the routers, and they have some amazing technology that they use to be able to monitor and know. So the most interesting story that we did was how they pull fiber from under the sea, from the Indian Ocean all the way to Lodwar. You see, when you say about internet, even when you look at your bundles, you'll not know that those things that go behind the scenes. And telling those stories and using that platform has helped us put a face and humanity to the brand that is Safaricom. So that is the most important thing that I keep emphasizing on storytelling. So now people understand. Now people now can appreciate people like Peter, because you'll not know what Peter does and the impact that he does. But now when you go on that platform, you meet some amazing people whom you'd even think even do what they do. So having, in conclusion, and I know we'll discuss this in length, is that having a communication specialist in your organization, having people like us in your organization, having people with these communication skills helps to advance your storytelling, helps to advance your agenda setting, and to help the different stakeholders know what you're doing. Thank you.
Very good answer, very good response. I think it's apparent. No business, no organization can survive without communications experts. You'll go to tell the people about your product, but because you come from a very technical point of view, with very minimal communication skills, they will not understand. So on to the second question, and this is directed to our lecturers, our founders. One of the challenges that arise in the era of digitalization is big data. In the era of digitalization and big data is information overload. So with digitalization, we get so much information, so there is information overload. So how does our program prepare students to navigate and contribute to communication challenges such as information overload in industries? I'd like to hear from Dr. Yvonne.
Thank you. So I think we do a few things that help our students to deal with information overload. So You mentioned big data, and a lot of us don't know what to do with big data. And one of the things that technical communicators learn is how to analyze big data, how to make sense of the data so that it's useful for the organization, it's useful for maybe increasing sales or finding ways to get new markets or just improving the overall information. I hope you can hear me. There's a bit of in and out. Yeah. And I think the second thing that we do in the program is create information that can be trusted. And that's really essential. That we heard our students mention earlier that technical communication has the 4 C's and how important it is to have information that's comprehensive and consistent and complete, and most of all, that's correct. And we're in this age where we have disinformation and misinformation and, as you said, overload of information. And the thing that distinguishes the information that technical communicators develop is that it's correct and it's right for the time and right for the audience and for the device and for the project, and it's trustable. And I think that's really an essential thing that our students are able to create.
Yeah, thank you very much. And from Professor Sisi, the same question: how does our program equip students to be able to confront these challenges that come with digitalization?
Okay, thank you for this question, because in our discipline there are already methods have been developed. Methods have been developed to improve that information overload is reduced. And one method which is quite famous, and it's also in the international standards mentioned, it's called minimalism. As you can hear from the word, the purpose of this method is to really find out which information is really necessary for your target audience and leave out what is not necessary, just to not overload your audience and your target groups. And then you learn to really find out very fast from a big amount of content what can be left out and what are the essentials. And this helps a lot to minimize information overload.
Perfect. Over to Professor Mutiti. Same question.
Yeah,
how is our program preparing students?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say that in one of our courses, we have what we call data mining, and data mining itself actually means that you are able to look for the important data that will suit your purpose at the right time. We are living in the age where there's a lot of information, of course, coming through the net, but we say that good communicators will actually know how to sieve what is good and what is appropriate from what is inappropriate and what is false. We all know the novel idea where they are saying that even false data could still be used for some purpose. So we want to make sure that we are able to recognize what is false and fake and what is actually genuine under particular circumstances, so that we are able actually to direct those who we want to communicate to in the correct paths. We are saying this knowing very well that the world is full of even misinformation and disinformation. We are living in the age we call the post-truth age, where when you sell anything on the internet, many times over, it actually becomes like a truth for some set of people. But we want to make sure that our communicators are able to choose the correct truths, the appropriate truths, and how those truths can actually impact positively on human life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Speaking about misinformation, Africans will relate. I don't know if you have parents. There's this joke that usually goes around when your mom forwards you something that she has received from the internet. She's like, I have heard that this and this is happening in Nairobi today. There are people giving free money. Forward this to 10 people and you'll get 1 million Kenyan shillings. So I agree with what Prof is saying. There's a lot of fake information out there, and our program is really going a long way in helping with that. To our company experts, back to you again. Building on what we've already discussed as industry experts, how do you see the impact of skilled technical communicators on the success of projects within organizations? I know when we started, we talked about what is the need to have skilled technical communicators, but now we are asking, what is the benefit when you have skilled technical communicators? Maybe just one sentence on that. Short, yeah.
I think the benefit of technical people having communication skills is that there's nobody else who will tell your story better than you do. And I remember when I was in newsroom, the most difficult thing was to find technical people who could come for interviews. So I used to cover agriculture. And I can tell you for sure, we have amazing scientists and researchers at Calro, Kari, doing amazing things. But we never get to hear most of it. And even convincing them for an interview, it used to be so hectic. You know, even to just say, Kuja to, you know, like, I will come where you are. You'll give all the incentives. I will come where you are. I'll come to your lab. I have no problem. Can I give you my research paper? You read it instead. And I'm like, I'm just a journalist. I will read it, but my voice, I'm not an expert in your field. So we used to really have a lot of difficulty getting, especially scientists and researchers, people who are in these technical fields, to come and speak. And you find that when that happens, you find that there are all these pseudo people. I think you've seen on Twitter, every time there's a problem, like recently there was a whole thing about the Kenyan shilling, and everyone on Twitter became a forex expert about Kenyan shillings. But you see, the problem is, if the person who is an expert in that field does not speak, it opens up to fake people who will misinform the larger public. Because at the end of the day, and especially when it comes to newsroom, and I think my colleague from Kenya News Agency can tell you, if, for example, now something happens now, and we need an expert in it, probably from Cambridge, your timing, at the end of the day, the story has to go on air. You know, whether we get an expert or not, and your editor is there on your call telling you, this story needs to go up by 7 p.m., you know. So sometimes, you know, you'll go to your WhatsApp group, ask your fellow colleagues, have you found? And let me tell you, they're opportunists. I don't want to mention names, but there are people whom you'll see on TV in the morning, they're an economist. Tomorrow, they're a citizen, they're a political analyst. The following day, they're an expert in drought. You know, we have those characters. But why are we letting those characters thrive when we have people who have the knowledge and the expertise in these fields? And that is where technical people are missing out. And the other thing is that you find that the whole benefit of having communication skill as a technical person is that probably the promotion that you need, that research that, you know, sometimes I normally say that people who are technical, the difference between us in comms and people who are technical is that these guys normally sit and just put their head down and just do their jobs. Let me tell you, for some of us, the jobs we've gotten is because we talk. You know, we know how to defend ourselves. But you know, sometimes that paper, it might only take one TV interview, and you're in Harvard. And somebody says, oh my God, that is the expert. That is the person I've been looking for. So sometimes you're locking yourself out by not expressing what you are doing. And I think when Edith and the team came to visit me, I told them, oh my gosh, this is what I think can help us. Because I'm speaking as a journalist, I'm speaking as a communication person. And you can imagine the seat where I sit in county government, and we always have requests from journalists. We need a doctor, we need somebody in agriculture. I am struggling the same thing. I am literally pushing these people every single day because I'm heading the communication team, but I am not an agriculture officer. I am not a medical officer. I am not any of these officers, and I don't have as much as I have the authority to speak on behalf of the government, I am not an authority in the field you're asking me to speak about. So I feel there's really much need for technical people to have communication skills, because it also places you as a thought leader. Imagine the time that you have spent working on that paper and that research. And then there's a character somewhere masquerading as an expert in your own field, and is getting all the credit, honestly. At least having communication skills is not simply the final leap to getting to where you want. Let people know who you are. Take credit for what you're doing, because nobody else is doing it. Thank you.
Amazing. That's very powerful. I'd like to approach that question from the point of view of why do I need a technical communication expert in my company? Or why does a company like mine need a technical communication expert? And she has gone into detail in giving you very specific examples of technical communication in a specific, really niche space. But I want to say this. Number one, organizations are a sum of their parts and not just organizations. So when you see Google is a sum of the human resources, the operations, the innovation team, and so on, the projects team, which will always look at bringing you a lot of new ideas and new things and many things like that. The only node that connects these organizations and creates a seamless flow between them, and some people will call it the systems theory, is communication and information flow between these different nodes. Those of us who have done science, I don't remember my science, it's many years from high school, but there were these things that are connected by bonds. What are they called? Molecules? Molecular bonds? Atomic bonds? Whatever those are, I don't really remember them, but I remember they exist, okay? And how those things work in sync is if they remain connected and if the information between them flows well. That's the same as the human nervous system. Technical communication is the nervous system of any organization. It's the only way the left knows what the right is doing, and the left can say what the right is doing in the right way. In an organization, technical communication is needed for several reasons. One, projects need to be successful, and the best way for projects to be successful is for the stakeholders within that project to be able to communicate effectively. That's where your internal communication, your presentations, your idea presentation, your video concept presentation becomes very important. That's where your meetings, your brainstorming becomes very important. All those are elements of communication that you'll be needed to curate as the person dealing with communication in that space. Then you are only as useful as what you do now. One thing I didn't tell you when I was introducing myself is that in another world, I'm an author. And in that world, I write books about crime, and specifically terrorism. Now, don't be scared. Don't be scared, okay? I'm not one of them. My first book, I wrote it as a tribute to a friend of mine who had died in the Garissa University attack. And I was just trying to look at the mind of the attackers. How do they go about it? And I went into some time researching how they do work. And one of the most important tools of good and bad in the world is being able to tell the world about what you're doing and make sure that they actually believe you're doing it for the right reasons. And those people invest a lot in that. They have a whole expert teams that just push out their propaganda. I'm not saying you go and do it in that direction, but I'm asking you to look at it from the point of view of how effectively they can communicate the results of what is coming out. There's a president in this world called Donald J. Trump, who say what you want about him, say what you want about how he can speak up 20 things in one sentence, but he's very effective at communicating even the most useless things in a way that it appeals to people and makes them believe that they are the right things to follow. There's a gentleman who we keep wondering how he manages to captivate his audiences. The gentleman is called Boris Johnson. Now, he's a very interesting man, and I by no way support what everyone I'm speaking about believes in, but he has a way of being able to convince you that what he thinks about is the right thing. That's the output communication. Technical communication is also about being able to communicate what the organization, what the entity, what the government, what the individual has done in the right way. The paper that you put out in a journal, that's technical communication. The article that you put out in a newspaper, that's technical communication. The promotional video that you put out, that's a product of technical communication. How do you bring together these different nodes? The skills that you're learning might be specific, might be niched, but they come together in helping us to be able to package our product and give it back to you in a nice way. Finally, they say this: if you give a woman a house, she'll give you a home. What is the basic element of that small bit of communication? That small bit of communication is just telling you that whatever you give this person in a very raw form, she will package it, she will model it, and then she will communicate it back to you in a way that it is as beautiful as it could ever be and as welcoming as it could ever be. As a communication person, that is your role, to be able to give us the information, to be able to package it well, and finally, to be able to use your information to help us resolve conflict. Because conflict, be it conflict of fact or conflict of information or conflict of beliefs, is a very major part of the corporate business, and therefore you have to be able to step in that gap as a communication person and package the information in the right way that help us avoid it, or where we can't avoid it, resolve it.
Wow, thank you very much. That was very compelling. If by now you do not see the importance of communication, we will pray for you after this. Just remember, there's a day I went to Miniso. It's a chain of stores all over the world, different parts of the world. So I went to Miniso, Mombasa, to get a gift for a friend. I got a very cute lampshade for 1,500 shillings that you press and it turns on. But when I got home, for some reason, I couldn't figure out how to press that, to turn it on. So I started turning things here and there, turning it around. And then when I turn the head round for it to turn on, instead of turning on, one of the wires came off. So the bad thing is that that lamp didn't come with a manual that shows me this is how you use this product. You know that is the work of a technical communicator, coming up with such instructions in a way that the user of the product understands this is what I'm supposed to do with this product. So yeah, it's very obvious now, very apparent that our program is very relevant and useful in all industries. Next question, directed to our dear students. Ivy, from a student's perspective, could you shed light on how the program's curriculum and hands-on experiences have influenced your understanding of technical communication and its real-world application?
Thank you very much, Vicky. So, how technical communication has influenced or impacted my life. Up to this point, we've done semester 1, moving into semester 2. So I'll take some of the things I learned in semester 1 and relate them to how they're applying right now. So when we were presenting, our first presenter, Mercy, presented on a FLAIR project she had done. The backstory of that is she had to go back into topic structuring and topic planning. So that means that the end product came up in a specific form. Now, how is that helpful? It's also helpful for our thesis or project that we are planning to do in this second semester, because we learned that whilst we are doing our research, we can go and build this body so that when we start adding the content, it comes up together. And we can also choose, she had mentioned it has 2 forms of output, which was HTML or PDF. So instead of going there and typing and typing and typing, and it can output it for you like that. Another thing we learned was standardization. Standardization in Word will help us plan our topics, how they look like. If assuming you want all your topics to be in green or red or to be capital or not, instead of scrolling down the whole project and pressing, in computers you can press one thing and then everything goes haywire. Because of that proper planning, we are able to do all these things in an effective way that is also not exhausting or overwhelming, because you can all attest, people who have done projects, it can get really, really crazy. So that's one bit of it. The other bit of it in topic structuring is basically how your laptop looks like. Have you ever created a document and then once you save, you really don't know where it went? Yeah. You don't even know what you saved. You don't remember how you named your document. So technical communication applies in that too. How is my organizational work, So given in whatever field you're working in, if your supervisor asked you for a project that you worked on 2 months ago, you can easily go back and trace it Yeah, and that's one of the ways it applies. Now, another thing I didn't mention is that I create content and I create beauty content. That aside, with the class we did in videography, like the 2 videos my classmates presented, nowadays when I go to record something, I have that knowledge that I learned in the back of my head. This is what I want the video to inform. But the backstory of it, in the planning, in the creating a storyboard, all those things are very essential for even what I do, because I do that, say, twice a week. So it's something I do very frequently. But then each of my video is able to communicate what I want it to say. If I'm teaching you how to do something, then by the end of the video, you can learn how to do it. And it's not a boring thing where the video is just one. Rosalind spoke about 5-shot sequence. So with that application, I'm able to make my video interesting. Like I said, you need to communicate what you know, but not in a boring manner. The other thing we are learning also is more on the corporate, say for example, I wanted to start a company, our branding, how is it gonna look, the combination of colors, because something people don't know about, maybe, for example, you can't use red and green. Why? Color blindness. So you get to learn those things and be able, if you want to start a company, to be able to make it appealing, to have whatever you want your company to look like, and have that knowledge in the back end is very, very important. Yeah, so they are very, very, I could literally go from, from subject to subject to the benefits of it, but I think for me in general, the most important one is organizational, because I really like when I work somewhere or I'm planning to do something, I can move from step A to step B, and technical communication does that, and your work is organized, yes, but it's easily understandable, like you're saying, to the target audience, that the person you're doing this for is able to understand and comprehend what you're talking about, not just see and understand and then it ends there. Yeah, so there are much more benefits of technical communication, even as to how it applies in my own personal life, but those are just some of the highlights.
Thank you so much, Ivy. Peter, in 1 minute, sorry,
thank
in
you.
1 minute, yeah.
I wanted to add something on whatever our sisters just said.
Perfect.
I really concur with Mercy that the IT people, they really work on their computers, but they don't talk much. And now, with me, I think I've learned a lot from the program. With IT people, if you have IT person around, the language they'll talk. If you're talking of internet, there's jargon they talk about that you cannot understand easily. And that makes now so difficult for you as a layman, understanding what are you talking about. If we come here, if ask someone, do you have internet? From the IT perspective, someone will say, hey, the signal is very low, the data packets are low, so we cannot have good internet. Sometimes you understand what are these packets we're talking about, what are these, all these things, those are technical stuff that anybody who is not technically good may not be able to understand. But as for me, I've learned something with the MCM program. Because as much as I know the technical bit, I need to lay in a way that you can understand. Because if I don't explain to you so that you can understand in the language that you know, the level you know, you will never appreciate what this person is doing. And that has been the thing that we have been working on and have really learned from the MCM. Sometimes I deal with students and staff. But I know whatever I'm explaining is so technical that they will not understand. But now I need to make sure that they understand so that they can appreciate what we are doing. So sometimes I just sit down, I digest, and then I break down this information into a level where the person I'm dealing with will understand. And that has made me, in fact, it has made my work easier. Because if I talk to like Alex, there are levels that I can talk to. If I talk to a student who is maybe, he's a first year, he doesn't understand what is the internet you're talking about, what the bundles are talking about, the connectivity, he doesn't understand. I have to put in a way that he or he can understand so that next time he can be a teacher of the other. So it has really helped me, and even in my workplace, I do a lot of communication. Sometimes I talk much, sometimes I sit down, I do my thing, I become the real Peter, yeah? But the program has really helped me, especially in disseminating this information to the rest. Thank you.
As we wind up, thank you very much, Peter. As we wind up, now on a light note, I don't know if you've experienced this. You take a very nice video with your phone. You show someone so proudly, Ivy, I did this, and then they're like, oh, which phone is that? You tell them iPhone 13 Pro Max, and then they're like, oh, no wonder, you have a good phone. That's why, it's the camera. And then sometimes I feel like telling people, if you're an expert in that field, you tell someone, okay, take it, let me see you do it. Same thing with communication. People think it is as simple as, it's just writing. Let me write. It's just videography. I have a good phone, I have a good camera, but let me see you do it. We need experts in the field, and MCM equips students for the same cause. There are unwritten rules. You will see a video and you will think, oh, that's a very nice video. But behind it, like Ivy has said, there is a 5-shot sequence. There is a storyboard that was written. There are terms that she identifies, these are the terms I'm using for this subject. So there is so much to it. And now, as we approach the end, we had a conversation with Mercy some weeks back, and Edith, and she spoke about the fact that most people from a communications background, when they are working for organizations that are from a different industry, for example, STEM, science, technology, engineering, or math, but you're a communications expert, right? You studied communication in something. You're working in a research institute like KEMRI. They tend to now start taking small courses within that field to be able to communicate in a way that is, also understand what that industry comprises of. So she highlighted and she pointed out that it is rarely the other way around. It is rarely that I am a research expert, I want to take a course in communications. I am a scientist, I want to take a course in communications to become a communications expert in this, which, as you've heard, is what MCM is about. MCM is a course where if you come from a chemistry background, you can apply to become a communications expert within your field of study. So the question is, why is it necessary for individuals from different backgrounds, such as STEM, to pursue such a program, Masters of Communication and Media? And because Mercy highlighted it, I think that question goes to her. Why do you think it's important for people from other backgrounds to take programs, to take a course in communications?
Well, we had that discussion because I remember when we're doing some projects that we're working with researchers. And I remember one of the researchers brought us out. It was almost a 15-word page document. So it was something to help the public understand. It was something in agriculture. And I remember we summarized that whole document in an infographics. And the scientist was very disappointed with us because they're like, no. You know, the time that I took to put these things in place, and we were trying to help them understand that what you have written, it's impressive, it is good. But our job is to help now the public, the person you want to know what you're doing, to understand this, to help them understand. We can't do, even if we had the funding to put the paper in a newspaper and do an outline, like the way we do MyGov on Star newspaper, who reads MyGov? Apart from entrepreneurs. Who want to know where the business is. You know, even if we were to do something similar, not many people will understand it. So with time, we felt there was a gap because for some of us, we've had to take short courses. For every industry and every client, especially if it's something long-term that takes more than a year, I have had to take a short course. I think I can tell you that I've done like almost 10, 15 courses on Coursera to just understand, including I'm doing one now in public service to understand government. But rarely will you find somebody on the other side doing, even if it's something as basic as PowerPoint presentation, something as basic as public speaking, you know, rarely do we have people from this other side. And when I was told about this program, in fact, I remember I really emphasized to Edith and the team is that it is very key, because I have seen very brilliant people not even being known, or even their work being known, because of simply, and I know not many people will tell you, like for the students who are here in Pwani, you're doing software engineering, you're doing, you know, it's a technical university, you guys do a lot of technical stuff. But imagine somebody, the reason why somebody will know what you're doing, you can even take a TikTok video. Like for example, if you do software engineering and there's this whole thing about cybersecurity and everything, you can do even like a 4-minute or a 3-minute video advising somebody the difference between using your bundles and a public Wi-Fi to access your bank account. You know, you're not supposed to to access your bank account to do mobile banking with public Wi-Fi. Just ask why. And I think one of the technical people who have used comms to really elevate themselves is Dr. Bright Gameli. For those in software cybersecurity, Bright and I were in Daystar together, more or less the same year. And he's a genius, he's a wizard. But he came to light. There was a time, I think there was a celebrities Instagram thing that was hacked. It was either Beyonce, it was an international thing. And that time I was an intern. So we kept on looking, but then we looked for somebody in cybersecurity to give us comments on this. Then I remembered, Bright used to hack stuff and knows these things. So of course, even convincing him at first, it was very difficult, because again, him and his computer, that's where the relationship ends with his expertise. So the moment that we gave him his first interview, of course, he was very reserved about it, but we gave him the first interview. The next thing, our colleagues from KTN took him up, Citizen, and all that stuff. Right now, he's an authority in Africa in cybersecurity. And I can tell you for sure, there are very many people, probably even better than him, who are in cybersecurity. But that just aspect of branding yourself and speaking what you're doing is what sets you apart. To be honest, I'm his friend, but to this day even, I need to book an appointment with him to even consult on a few things because of how busy he is. He's in conferences, he's everywhere, he's everywhere, he's everywhere. Now people know what they're doing. And you know, sometimes you might I normally see, unfortunately, a lot of people who've done technical courses. If you look at those guys who have those 2 placards in town, it's normally actual scientists, guys who are very brainy and have done very technical courses. And right now in the world of digital, in the world of storytelling, you can tell your own story. And the reason I'm really advocating for this is that no matter what you're doing, no matter what course you're doing, right now that we live in a global village, for the person in Canada and anybody to know what you're doing, just take your time and just tell people what you're doing. Even if it's your first year of first sem, let me tell you, that thing that you think everybody knows, not everybody knows it. Tell your story. Teach people the basic thing. If you're doing computer science, teach people the basics of computers. You might be surprised. Me, I have colleagues I work with who don't know how to switch on a computer. It may look very simple, but imagine you doing a very simple tutorial, how to switch on a computer, how to open Word, how to do this. Somebody is looking for that information somewhere. You might think because you're doing something technical, not people are interested. People are interested. If you're doing medicine, like right now there's this whole red eye thing. All we know is you have a red eye, sanitize, wear your mask. But I've not seen somebody who will come and who has actually told us, what is this thing? Where does it come from? How does it affect your body? Something very small, you know. So as much as, I know when people hear communication and media, they think it's, you know, TV, you know, the good stuff, the good stuff that everybody knows. But this skill is very important even for your own career growth. So take it up, learn, even basics. You don't need to come in and know the technical things that we do, or even be able to do, but it is also, even when you become a profound professor in everything and you're working in an NGO or you are working in an organization, for you even to understand what your communication person is doing, you need to know, at least have a basic of what they're doing. Same way that we sit and research and understand what you're doing, it's the same way around. Because I might be your communication specialist and you're doing research, and probably there are things that I have left out. Because you know, for me, I'm looking at the content point of view. And for you, if you don't understand if you don't have a glimpse of what I do, we might end up missing out on information. So for me, that's the most important thing about this course. And for me, I will really advocate every person, whether you're a banker, you're a tech person, you're what, it is very important for you to have at least basics in communication.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much to all our panelists today. Sorry. I hope you have seen how important our program is. Actually, we had 2 more questions, but I feel like they have already been answered. That one, our program is tailored to suit students from diverse backgrounds. It doesn't matter what you did in your bachelor's degree, it is suited for you. And well, yeah, I think we close there. I was gonna ask Professor Sisi the importance, our program is tailored to also collaborate with organizations. And I think that with our panelists and from what we've heard, they recognize that it is important for them to have communications experts in their organizations. And the students, they understand that it is important for them to grow the skill that they have gained in class, right? So we hope to keep growing. Our future is bright with MCM. We are honored to be the pioneers, and it is looking very well from where I stand. Yeah, thank you very much to all our panelists. We have come to the end of our discussion today. Over to you, our MC. I know he will tell you to give them a 5 factorial.
A big applause for our panel. I thought and now you have learned that a big applause means something special, like a 5 factorial. Just to stretch a little bit, try to stretch in a technical way. I know you're really tired. Don't hurt your neighbor on the right, on the left. Just stretch out a bit, stretch out a bit. If you didn't know, as you stretch, that you have a talent in patience and endurance and perseverance, now you know, because you've been sitting here pretty much, for those who came early, from about 9 or 9:30, and we are now headed to 12:30. That's a lot of time to just sit and listen to one speaker after the other. But we hope we have not bored you. We hope we have unpacked the discipline, the partnership, the opportunities from all perspectives to you, so that you can take that information and use it for yourself, or even share it with someone with whom you know it would be beneficial. Someone who can be a potential student, someone who can be a potential partner from the industry side. We are really looking for industry partnerships, so that as we shape the program, then it is in line with what the industry really would desire as a product. Let's warm a little bit our hands and give Victoria, our moderator for the panel discussion, and our great panel a nice 5 factorial, even as we head towards the end of our program in the morning. 1, are you ready? 2, 3, go! Thank you very much for that. At this juncture, we are just about to conclude with one final, very brief session of what next. We have looked at where we started 10 years ago, how we have evolved from one project to the other, the discipline of MCM. Dr. Elizabeth Munyaya did a very good presentation on her research on how far we have come, the highlights, the challenges, the benefits we have been able to experience so far. We've had a wonderful panel discussion, bringing in various perspectives from the industry, from the students, from the pioneers who have vast experience in the field of technical communication. What next? And Edith will try to help us wrap up the whole morning session and talk about what do we do from here. Welcome, Edith.
Thank you so much, Alex. What next? Very simply put, we are asking you to apply now. For the undergraduate students, we are asking you to apply, and not only to apply, just visit our, if you scan the QR code, you'll see several posters around. When you scan that QR code, it will take you to a link tree that has various information on our social media. It has information on how to apply for the master program. It has information on what the program is about. So just to get more information, scan the QR code and you'll be able to see what we have in store for you. So simply put, we're looking forward to seeing you very soon as our students. Also, as we wrap up, it has been a good morning, I believe, for all of us. And now we have refreshments waiting for you. Kindly for the students, for the students, we have lunch ready for you at the student mess. And for our guests, we have lunch waiting for you at the resource center. And even as we go for lunch, we still have more to share with you. So please come back after the lunch session. We have an exciting presentation to show you about our other project, which is the VIL project. Will we see you after lunch? Let me get a bigger yes. Fantastic. In addition as well, we have some few little good goodies for you to actually sample. Let me just see, maybe sample. We have some few pens. We also have stickers. Feel free to just grab one as you go for lunch and as we see you later in 1 hour. Is that okay? So let us meet back here at 1:15. Thank you so much.
Their pens also. If you need, you don't need one. Sir.
1, 2. Rudy. Why are you so moody?